Okay, so welcome, Mbongeni Dube, this evening. It's so interesting. You are in a place where, again, something new happens, it looks like. Yeah. First, you had one of the hotspots of Corona. Now you are in one of the hotspots of black racism. How do you think about that?
Yeah, when I came, first it was the coronavirus that was an unexpected, if something that just came up. So again, now we are also facing the issue of racism. A lot has been happening, and we saw it on different platforms of social media. But what triggered this whole issue now is the killing of the guy called Floyd. This is the one that triggered everything, and people rose and they protested in streets, and some began to destroy and vandalize property and shops and everything, which is created unrest in the country so far as we talk. And a lot is taking place. People are still continuing even to march around different states. And police are seen in other states saying sorry to the black people, and which is not an easy thing. And churches have started to engage on the issue also. So for me to be here is kind of a short period, but full of events and full of shocking and a lot that is going on. And it's a period that is eye-opening.
But may I ask, have you ever experienced racism in the US?
I cannot say racism in an advanced level, but what I can say is that you can pick some of the racism elements when you talk to some people or when you communicate or whenever. I remember one day when Pastor Darren dropped me at an area where I stay. I stay at an area called Ben Hills. It's in New York, Glenville. This place is very, very, very few black people. And when he dropped me, he said, "Oh, today the weather is fine. You can walk around." So as I was just walking around the paveway where I stay, then there is a friend of the guy that I'm renting a house from who just drove by, and he quickly picked his phone and called the guy that I stay with. And he said, "There is a black man walking in your paveway. You are in trouble." Then the guy that I stay with said, "No, don't worry. I know him. I stay with him. He's a good guy." And all this, have been happening. And yeah. Yes.
No, it's bad actually how, yeah. And that's what also happened to the police, huh? That the police also sometimes just have assumptions which are not of any, yeah, there's no background for that at all. Yeah. Yeah, no, go ahead, please.
That's right, because when I came to the United States, the first time I was taken to a place where they could teach me how to respond when a policeman comes to you, especially when you're coming from another nation and you're a black person. Really, you go to a certain person or anyone who can actually mentor or teach you on how to respond when police come to you and all that kind of stuff. So you are encouraged not to respond or not to show any ways like you want to retaliate or want to fight back. You just stay calm and all that kind of stuff, because even if you are killed, you cannot win the case. So it's pathetic.
Yeah, tricky situation, I think. But how is your church feeling about racism?
For my church, firstly, I would like to describe the LCA church, the Lutheran Church in America. I have realized that the Lutheran Church in America is one of the churches that have very, 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 very few black priests.
Mm-hmm.
And even not only priests, but also the congregants. So there is an interesting book that my pastor was discussing with the congregants. It says, "Dear Church." In this book, the writer is a Lutheran black pastor. He says, how is it that the Lutheran is one of the churches with a great population, yet in its greatest population, there are very, very few black people. So he's talking about that issue that there are very black people. In this diocese where I am in the upstate New York, the bishop held a meeting and he said, there are about 4 or 3 pastors, black pastors, who are actually involved and working in the church. Very limited in the whole diocese out of thousands and thousands of pastors. So, which is something that they are looking into. And where I am, I told you earlier that I'll be preaching to white people, no black person. The only black person, it's me. So sometimes when you preach to people, you do not know whether some of the people that you're preaching to, they're also involved in racism, and how are they going to welcome you? How are they going to view your message? They can even sue you for any statement that you say. So, but so far, there haven't any congregant who have seemed to be showing any racism against me. I've been working very well with the people at Good Shepherd, and the pastor that I'm working with is a man who is totally against racism. He has been trying by all means to make sure that they talk about it. And I told you that we have also started like Bible studies or something of that nature to discuss on the issues of racism. So on Thursday, we had a meeting and we talked about it, and other people were actually crying. The white people were crying in the meeting and said, we've actually dated these black people and we never saw them as people of different color. They were part of us. And others were saying, even my daughters and sons, they're also black people. I'm now afraid of what will happen to them because of this situation that is going out throughout the country. So you can tell that there are some people, some white people that are really against racism. It's not everyone who is a racist in America. There are certain people.
Mm. And so that is really good. The church takes a clear stand, your congregation. I have the feeling.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Are you joining all together in the marches which are there in New York or whatever? We see that only in TV. I do not know how the real situation is.
Yeah, I'm not joining due to my international status.
Okay.
Just to keep my visa and everything in good books with the embassy and the migration offices. So I've avoided to be involved in much, but people are really doing it, and they are marching in streets. And
I mean, also from your congregation, people.
From my congregation, I haven't seen any people marching so far, because it's the marching. It depends on the state where you are. There are states that are really, really, really have been having this issue for a long. So the issue of Floyd just heated things up, and they began to march on the street every day.
Is there any difference actually for you as a man from Africa, as well as when you compare yourself then now to the African Americans? Is there a difference in that how people are reacting towards you or how they see you?
My fear at first was that if some people here in the United States can treat Black American the way they are treating them, what about a black man from Africa? That was my fear. So I was always aware of that if people could actually show racism to the people that are actually born in the country, what about a foreigner? So that was my fear. But my congregation have tried by all means to welcome me and to make me feel at home, which is what I like and all that kind of stuff. But I'm also aware that there are some people outside wherever I go that might be actually racist. So I'm very alert whenever I go, and I try by all means to go with the pastor so that at least I might avoid a lot of troubles, because someone can just do something silly just to provoke your anger. And after that, they know that they will always win the cases in the courts. So I just behave myself.
So that means actually in America you are living with much, much more fear than ever before.
Yeah, now because of what is also happening, I mean, you're not sure of what can happen to you. You can be walking on the street and some people can just do anything. So that's why I'm avoiding even to be moving around and going to places right now. If I'm to go to any place, at least I go with a pastor who will be able to defend me and speak for me. So if there is nothing like that needs to be done, I just stay indoors and maintain my peace.
What do you think? What is the way where America is going to reflecting on this racism in the moment? And is that what your church is doing now? Really, an example also for America to move in another towards another future.
Yeah, I think it will start from individual level, the perspective of people changing, but also the role of the church is not undermined, because the church must be the first to move and show the world what it means to be a people, what it means to be one, what it means to be united, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm happy that the Lutheran Church in America have taken stances on that, and they're trying by all means to make sure that racism ends. So if the church have taken a step, you can tell that there is a future, there is a place where we are going. So I think if the church can stand up and speak out that we might be black, we might be white, we might be of different color, but the sense that we are all created in the image of God, that's what gives us value, and that one sense that we are all people of God. When I look at my brother, I look at my sister, whether it's white or black, I should be able to see that image of God in him or her. I think that's the way forward, but it's starting from the church spreading out. So the church, yeah, they have to stand. If it means to preach the gospel of justice, peace, they have to do it. If it means the church, they have to broadcast on that and declare on where they are standing about the issue, and possible even to meet with the leadership, because they have a platform where they can actually meet with the leadership, political leaders of the country. When I came here, we were able to meet with some of them, and they can do that through those channels and declare that racism must end in the United States.
And I think in a way that they had invited you, this is already a good example, yeah, for their stand, what they want to do. And now you see that you're also part of it, of this new story, perhaps also of also changes to the church in the state where you are.
That's right. I mean, the partnership that exists between the Lutheran Church in America and Zimbabwe, it's really showing something about the church. They're ready to walk towards the journey of ending racism. And I'm very much proud to say the bishop that I'm under is a man who is totally against racism. And he's if you check his status, his writings on Facebook, wherever in any platform, you will totally see that he's totally against racism.
Yeah, wonderful that you can make, although it's so difficult, but I think it's also a place worth for you to be. Thanks for the interview, and thanks for that sharing with us.
Thank you so much, Rev Ode.